Well, here we are on day 5 of our Advent devotions, and I hope you're enjoying them and they're really helpful to you and help you understand the Bible. I've enjoyed doing them, so I hope you're enjoying it as much as I am. But today I wanted to look at the visit of what we've kind of come to know as the wise men or the kings, but, but what they're really called is the Magi. Yesterday we looked at Mary, the day before that we looked at Joseph and their experiences of understanding that they were going to have this Savior born of a virgin who is going to save his people from their sins. But there are other people who show up in these narratives, other characters. If you've ever been in a nativity play, then you may have played one of these guys, maybe a wise man, and we'll see Herod tomorrow, and we'll see the shepherds after that. And these people's different responses to Jesus. And today in Matthew 2, I wanted to focus on these Magi, these wise men. Matthew chapter 2 in the Bible, Matthew chapter 2, we read this. Now after Jesus was born in Bethlehem of Judea in the days of Herod the king, behold, wise men, or Magi, came from the east, came to Jerusalem, saying, where is he who has been born King of the Jews? For we saw his star when it rose, and have come to worship him. When Herod the king heard this, he was troubled, and all Jerusalem with him. And assembling all the chief priests and scribes of the people, he inquired of them where the Christ was to be born. They told him in Bethlehem of Judea, for so it is written by the prophet, and you, O Bethlehem, in the land of Judah, are by no means least among the rulers of Judah. For from you shall come a ruler who will shepherd my people Israel. Then Herod summoned the wise men secretly, and ascertained from them what time the star had appeared. And he sent them to Bethlehem, saying, go and search diligently for the child. And when you have found him, bring me word, that I too may come and worship him. After listening to the king, they went on their way, and behold, the star that they had seen when it rose went before them until it came to rest over the place where the child was. When they saw the star, they rejoiced exceedingly with great joy. And going into the house, they saw the child with Mary his mother, and they fell down and worshipped him. Then opening their treasures, they offered him gifts, gold and frankincense and myrrh. And being warned in a dream not to return to Herod, they departed to their own country by another way. So these men that come from the east, in some ways they seem quite mysterious, they seem quite sort of magical almost in the way that you read about them, and there's a reason for that. Well, first of all, where they come from. Some people think that maybe they come from something like modern-day Iraq, somewhere along that kind of way. They come a very long way to Jerusalem. And their background, it's actually called Magi, and these were kind of people that would study astrology and all kinds of various arts like that, spiritual arts, some of them perhaps even quite dark, but they certainly studied the stars and they tried to understand things and they tried to interpret things according to that, and they would have been involved in all kinds of arts, very intelligent, probably quite sophisticated men. And they had obviously been studying the stars and they've been really interested in that, and they had seen this star and they thought, what's that about? And they reckoned that they needed to get to Jerusalem. Perhaps that's where they'd located it in the sky or something. I don't really know, but it's possible that they knew the Old Testament scriptures, and one verse in Numbers speaks of this Messiah that would come, and there's a relation there to a star that would appear. And so some people think maybe they knew their Old Testament a little bit. They wouldn't have been believers in God. They would have studied all kinds of books and philosophers and tried to understand through various means, various spiritual practices. But they see something particularly significant about this. And so they come to seek Jesus. They come to seek someone, this king that's to be born. And naturally they go to the palace. They go to the place where they think a king would be, and they meet Herod. And we'll look at Herod's response to this tomorrow. But they have come so far to find this king. But I love the response and what we see next. It's really great when we go down, when they actually get to the place where he is. Their response, these men who have studied all kinds of spirituality, studied all kinds of literature and so on, they come to this place, this little baby in this humble little place where he was born with a young mum there and everything. And they bow down and worship, and they offer gifts to him. And they even obey. They decide not to go back and see Herod, having been warned in a dream. They come and they worship this Savior. Come from afar to worship him. What an incredible moment this must have been for the family when these men appeared, and just that knowledge that God was at work. And there's a challenge here for all of us, and maybe for all of us to really seek God. These men were seeking something. They were seeking something, and they were looking for it And they were finding themselves in all the wrong places looking for it. And even in our day today, there are people looking for God, and they're finding it in all the wrong places, whether that's spiritual or non-spiritual. There's all kinds of spiritual practices being done in our communities today that are leading people astray and leading people into dangerous things. And we try and, even those of us that aren't maybe into that, seek that in all kinds of other things. We want to find meaning and hope and truth in the wrong places. But the place where we find meaning, where we find life, where we find true, the person whom we are truly worship is Jesus. And so there's this example here for us to come to Jesus, offer ourselves in worship, and offer up our lives to him, offer up what we have to him, and say, I want to follow you. I want to do what you want me to do. May each of us find that today, as these men found when they came to worship Jesus. Okay, thank you.